Hi. This starts the first lesson on creating games using the PyGame library, which is part of the Python language. Actually, it's an add-on to the Python language. And what it'll do is it'll enable us to create some pretty interesting things, both using graphics and our knowledge of basic Python. So it's a perfect way forward. What we're going to do here today is talk about the base template, something that you're going to use each and every time when you create a game. You'll add your own features to it, but these base features are going to be in every program that you write. So you might want to use this file, which is accessible in a number of places, including on the class Google Drive and in the Replit environment, to be a starting point for any of your games going forward. Let's get into the base template. The first thing you need to do is to import PyGame, and that's on line 2, and you can see that right here, import PyGame. Backing the train up a little bit, you'll see that I called mine first PyGame. Just as a note, please don't name your program pygame.py. Big mistake. You'll not be able to import this library if you do in any subsequent game. So it is advisable that you come up with sort of a nifty name for it, first PyGame. Okay. And I will just basically close that and continue on. Even before we define colors, which we did here, we want to initialize pygame.init so that our game will run. And I'm just going to back up the train. That's pretty standard. We're going to put that, and when you don't, you'll see you'll have a little mistake. By the way, let me run this and so you can see what we're going for. It's over here in this panel. Okay. We have a game window and a blank screen, and so it's a template, right? Your work will use this template to fill the screen with whatever project you're working on. Let's back the train up. In lines 5 through 9, we see some variables declared, okay? And I want to say that you see black being defined as 000, and what that means is we're defining some colors. As you may or may not know, colors are based on red, green, blue components, okay, and that's what each of those 3 numbers are about, and the numbers need to be between 0 and 255. So what you see is black is without red, green, or blue, okay, which is the default state, black, and white is the add of all the colors. Green just has, in order, red, green, blue, a green component. Red just has a red component, and blue would just have 255 here and 0 for the other components. One of the shades of gray is 155, 155, 155. If white is the most bleached out gray and black is, the one without any of the colors, okay, anything that has the same values, 155, 155, 31, 31, 31, will be a shade of gray. What type? I've just made that up. Let's move on. This screen, if it appeared in the wild outside the Replit environment, would be the size 700 by 500. And what I've done here is create a variable called size that will hold it. And you can alter it if you want, like 500 by 500, and it becomes more of a square. That's the width and that's the height values, okay? And the first thing we want to do is create something called a screen, and that's where we're going to draw on, and we need to give that information when we put objects on the screen. So we're going to call it screen, and it's PyGame.display.set mode, and it's given a size argument, which is 500 by 500. And you'll see that like the size is a tuple. So remember tuples, it's a 500 by 500 size tuple, or a tuple with two elements, the first being 500, the second being 500. Enough on tuples, that's not here today. 16, we're going to put a caption up here. It says game window over here, and we go display dot set underscore caption game window, and that will put game window here. Now the basic premise of this is that it is running in a loop and it's refreshing. So if I press the left key to move a character, or the right key, or move a mouse or drag the character, it's going to respond and refresh. So we need to look at that. But in order to do that, we use a variable called done, and we set it to false. And when done becomes true, it closes the game. All right, so you can see code a little bit below that will enable us to do it. We also create a clock variable, pygame.time.clock, which will allow us ability to refresh the screen. There are a couple ways of doing it. I prefer clock. I just want to say that the clock is used to refresh the variable. So we have a couple things, screen and clock, that we're going to use, as well as done variable set up before we enter the main program loop, which is while not done. So if done's false, what's not false, true. While true, keep going. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is get the event, which is going to go ahead and create a list of some sort of events that are occurring within the window, pygame.event.get, and we'll go through and iterate, and each one will be put in an event variable. And if the event.type equal pygame.quit, we're going to set done equal to true, and what's not true is false, and therefore the loop ends. And other than that, the loop goes on, and there's no way to close the window. So this is a standard thing that you're going to put in every program, hence it's in the template. It's the way to close the window. So what we're going to do here is put something that will say screen.fill white. Okay, it's a white background, it's obvious. We fill the white background, and then what happens is we put our drawing code, so we could draw rectangle objects, things that we want to add to the screen, and then we update the screen. Okay, if we don't update it, we'll have some issues. And what we're going to do is we're going to refresh our screen at 60 frames per second. Now outside the loop, when the loop is done, it's pygame.quit. So this is the template. I'll show you that it does work. Okay, when I click the X, it closed, and I'll change the thing to gray, and it's kind of neat because it will automatically prompt you to something that it knows in the program will rerun, and it will be some form of gray. Okay, so I made a minor modification to the template, and again, you'll find the template for your use. Use it, paste it, copy and paste it into your new effort, and typically what you're going to do is, and we'll start out with putting drawing code here, and as well having it respond to other events here. Okay, so if we have a key move or something like that, what we'll do is we will look at that. But that is the future video. For now, I want to just check out here and say we'll see you next time.